This podcast was recorded on the land of the Gadigal people of the Eora Nation.
Welcome back to another episode of Mad About You. Always a pleasure to have you with us and hear that voice next to me. Oh my gosh. Sometimes I think to myself, why did I agree to do this with you? We need some time apart, not more time together.
I can talk to myself for an hour. That's fine.
Guys, this week on the pod, we are talking about the 5-second rule in a relationship. Then we are going to be discussing in our Mum and Dad segment, can you be chatting to someone too little or too much when you're starting dating? Now, before we do that, I do have an interesting story to tell you guys, which I only got reminded of recently, and it actually happened when Jad and I first started dating like 10 years ago. So it's a story from the past, but still a good one. So my friend was dating this girl, and Jad and I met this girl as well, and she seemed relatively normal, relatively nice, and
it's just a sweet girl next door vibe.
Yeah, just a normal girl. And a couple of months into the relationship with my friend, he said that they started sort of bickering a fair bit, and they started arguing about silly things, and the dynamic of the relationship sort of just shifted quite quickly. And there came a point where he brought it up with her, and he said, "Look, I'm not sure what's going on, but this is not healthy. It's not going in the right direction. Like, I think we need to have a chat about things, or what's going on with you. Like, you've changed. You seem different." My friend said, if things are going to continue down this path, I don't think it's very healthy. Like, I think we should sort of, part ways. So like, let's discuss this and hopefully get to the bottom of it. I think she sort of realized like, oh, he might be on the out here. He might be, foot halfway out the door. And she said to him, look, I've been going through it with my family recently. My dad's been diagnosed with cancer. It's been a lot. Our family's been hit with it, and we don't really know what to do. I've never dealt with something like this, so I'm sorry if I've been short-tempered and argumentative and whatever it may be. And my friend obviously consoled her and said, if there's anything I can do to help, please reach out. I'm so sorry, and you take your time, and it's quite empathetic. And then at the end of the conversation, when they'd wrapped it up, she said to him, by the way, I'd really appreciate it if you just didn't bring it up with my family, like we don't really want to talk about it and this, that, and the other. And my friend was kind of like, okay, like no worries if that's what you want, but also a bit weird to be dating someone, be around their family and just like,
ignore this huge thing.
Ignore this, elephant in the room and not sort of, give your condolences and things like that. So a few weeks later, my mate said that...
condolences.
Yeah, sorry, not condolences, but
still kicking on.
Yeah.
Sorry for your impending doom. What?
So my friend was hanging out with the family a couple of weeks later, and he said that he found himself one-on-one with the mum. So not the dad who had been, got the bad news, but he found himself with the mum. And he said that he couldn't help himself but say, look, let's say her name's Trish. Look, Trish, I'm really sorry to hear about, David. If there's anything I can do, please don't hesitate to, reach out or ask, and I'm always happy to help. To which the mum looked at him like blank-faced and went, What are you talking about? What's wrong with David?
Oh, no.
And my friend was like, well, Jenny said that he's been diagnosed with, a cancer and you guys are going through it. So I just wanted to, show my love and let you guys know I'm here if you need anything. And she just looked at my friend and went, what are you talking about? Like, David's totally fine, And so my friend sort of left it there, and he realized what was going on, and he put his foot in it. Obviously not his fault. And then when he later in that day, when he got a bit of privacy with, the girl he was seeing, he sort of pulled her up and said, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
Like, you lied. Like, have you lied to me about this? And she goes, yeah, I'm really sorry. I didn't know what to say or do. And I didn't have like a reason or justification for, sort of why I'd been acting the way I did. So I just threw my dad under the bus. And so she lied about her dad having cancer.
That's so messed up.
To get out of an argument with the boyfriend. And
That's
then
so weird.
My friend, she kind of was like, can you forgive me? Like, let's move past this. I'm really sorry. Like, and my friend was like, there's no way I can forgive you. Like, this is the weirdest thing ever. And like, how is this going to go 6 months down the track? Like, let's say my friend didn't say anything and just went along with it. Like, as in, like when would you break and be honest and
Yeah.
go, oh, by the way, Dad's fine. This is really weird. Like, why is your dad never in hospital? Why is he, seem the same?
It's a really...
Why can I still not talk to your family about it? It was
Out
just,
of all the lies you could have told to get yourself out of that situation,
it was
why that
such
one?
a weird one. It seems like she didn't really think it through.
No.
Not only in the moment, but in the future, like what was going to happen. And so my friend quite quickly left that relationship, and when he told me the story, I was
Good.
absolutely dumbfounded.
Yeah,
and
it's terrible.
I mean, I think you got to be a bit weird to stay with someone after that, right? Like,
Yeah.
they're obviously an odd duck
Yes.
if they're gonna tell that sort of lie and fabricate. That's very traumatic information to lie about, and you're reeling people into your web of lies that don't want to be involved. And
It's also incredibly disrespectful if that other person had known or had anyone in their own circles who was actually going through that.
yeah, well, they'd be approaching it with such empathy and understanding, and you're using
It's horrible.
this thing that would get people into a different state of mind, and be very empathetic
Yeah.
and go, I might excuse your behavior temporarily because you're going through this huge thing. So
You know what it reminds-
super manipulative.
You know what it reminds me of? I'm sure you know this story too. I can't remember who it was, not that we'd name any names. But there was someone, I think we both knew them, whose partner pretended to be pregnant to the point where the guy was like, I'll come to the scan with you. And she kept saying, no, no, no. And then the guy ended up dropping her off to get a scan one day, an ultrasound. And she had bailed from the medical centre. She just left because he went in after her and said, hey, has this person come in? And they were like, no, this person never had an appointment. And then he realised she'd left the whole centre. There was like a back exit she could have taken or something. And he realised later on that she had been faking the pregnancy to get back with him. So they'd broken up. She pretended she was pregnant to get back with him and then wasn't ever pregnant.
Yeah, see, I don't think people think these things through when they start these lies. It's like it can't go right because you don't have the kid growing inside you.
Yeah.
And then when someone finds out that you lied about something this extreme, they're not going to want to borrow you.
I know.
So I think when you get confronted, if you're having a bad week, bad month, or you're arguing with your partner,
Just say
maybe
that.
say it or talk it out. Or maybe it's not right and you leave. But please don't, fabricate illnesses and pregnancies. That is not the way
We
to go.
do not condone that.
All right, guys, this week we are chatting about the 5-second rule in the relationship.
What is the 5-second rule, Lachlan?
Whoa, okay, let me teach you. Okay, so recently we learn about this thing, which was an aggression study that was done using 6,000 couples that came and did this study with this group of, scientists, psychologists types. And they wanted to see how aggression manifested in relationships when people were essentially arguing. But they did a test whereby they put them face to face with each other, like we are now, kind of, and they would give them a series of 30 reaction time tests. So, and whoever won, so you or I, whoever presses the button first gets the right answer, whatever it may be, has the decision whether or not they blast a loud noise into the loser's ear.
Who is
Right?
their partner?
Yeah, who's their partner. And I can imagine you and I would be blasting each other just, for fun. We're quite competitive.
I wouldn't blast you.
Yeah, all right, big guy.
I wouldn't want to hurt your eardrums.
Sure. So pretty much there was this study whereby, that happened and they watched where aggression got manifested. And what they noticed was that if you blasted me loudly after winning one, I would blast you back as loud or louder, sort of to get you back.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And as tensions rose, like as you annoyed the other person more and more, they were more likely to get more aggressive, right? And then they had a group of people of which they made them wait. So if they won the round, they had to wait 5 seconds, 10 seconds, or 15 seconds before they even had the option to blast the person, in the ears. And they noticed that giving that 5 seconds significantly reduced the amount of time someone would choose to blast their partner, And then they also said in the study that whether it was 10 seconds, 15 seconds, or 5 seconds, it didn't really change the amount of times that it happened. So as in 5 was just as valid as 15 seconds. And so this aggression study, it kind of showed that in a relationship when tensions arise or when you are arguing and when you're, when little things perhaps are going to turn into big things, that taking 5 seconds, or just a moment to gather your thoughts or not react impulsively could drastically change how you treat your partner in an argument, which I thought was, knowing that you can take 5 seconds and that can drastically affect the outcome in an argument, a conversation with your partner, I think is really important information to know moving forward. And let me just say something as well. Before, when you said that you wouldn't blast me in the ears, that is such a lie, because whenever we play board games, like Jad and I like playing this game called Settlers of Catan, for example. And there's an element of the game whereby you get to steal, it's like a resource game, and you get to steal people's resources. And it's a choice thing. So say you're playing with 4 people, you can choose to steal from one person. Now, sometimes I choose Jad.
Sometimes.
Because she has the things that I need, right?
Every time we start the game, you attack me immediately. Immediately.
Yeah, I'm coming from a position of strength. But every time I attack her, she gets angry and goes, "Why are you attacking me when there's 2 other people to attack?" And I go, "It's the right move because I need the things that you have."
Immediately.
So I can imagine that you in this game, if you beat me or bested me in anything, you'd be blasting me like no tomorrow.
No, but there's a difference between like getting you back in a game and hurting your eardrums. I don't want to hurt your eardrums.
You do all the time at home. That's when you know you've got her, guys, when she just repeats what you said like a 3-year-old and she realizes she's got nothing to say back to you.
Do you think you're good at taking a pause?
I think when we started the relationship, I'd pause for too long.
Yeah, God,
Like
you were so difficult to talk to.
Sometimes you'd send me these essays.
No, look, we're not talking about texting.
That's sometimes,
No, we're not talking about that. In real life.
Oh, okay.
Because this is where that applies, the 5-second rule.
I think I like a little bit of time and space in an argument, and I think you're kind of the opposite. So
there's been times where I've looked at the clock, it's taken you like 2 hours to respond to me.
As if.
You've left the room, you've done something, you've had a shower, you've had a meal, I'm watching the clock. 2 hours later, you finally say like 2 words.
No, I mean, I think at the beginning we were probably a little bit more fiery in our style of argument and conflict resolution.
This is true.
There probably wasn't much resolution.
Locke and I are both very passionate lovers.
Yeah. Well, I think I'm quite stubborn, but then I also
sorry,
think
can I just hear that again?
I'm quite stubborn.
That is music to my ears, I gotta tell you.
And then the rest of my sentence is Jad's also unbelievably stubborn.
No, whenever we're arguing, I'm going to play that clip back to you.
Okay, honey. Yeah, but I think as we've sort of aged and matured, we definitely have worked on our conflict. And I think that this is something that perhaps, we've put into our relationship unknowingly, just taking a little bit of time and being a little bit less fiery with our responses.
We could definitely still use it, I think.
Yeah, mainly
I think the 5 seconds would be really helpful because there have been times where we've taken a pause, walked out of the room, come back, had time to just think about what we're saying instead of just saying. And it shifts the dynamic of the conversation, doesn't it? When you're actively pausing and thinking about what you're about to say instead of just reacting, What do they say? It's called being proactive over reactive.
And then I think it also is important to know, like with this study, for example, it was that if your partner blasted you, you wanted to blast them back, and where it was equal or more. Whereas if you took that time and your partner reacted differently, or maybe didn't blast you in the ear or did it softly, is that you would follow suit. So next time you got them, you would react in a similar way. So it shows you like kind of always that you're in control,
yes,
not only of your own actions, but it's going to impact on your partner's actions. So
most of the time, yes. There are obviously scenarios where you might be doing your best to take a pause and someone's really heated and they're just not reciprocating. But eventually I think they will. And I think that's a good example to show, if you're in the middle of a conflict and you want to diffuse the situation, yes, you're in control at the end of the day. You can't just keep waiting for someone to diffuse it. You need to do it yourself. And by taking that pause and then perhaps, I don't know, if you've raised your voice, lowering your voice, relaxing your body, and then approaching it differently, the other person will 99% of the time feel really silly continuing to kind of be at that level that you were just at. That's a bit higher and a bit more, maybe, let's use the word passionate. So
Yeah, let's.
I think in our experience, that has worked. However, we definitely could apply it a bit more, especially now. I think having, had Fletcher, and maybe there's days and nights where we haven't slept as well, or there's, a moment that's heightened, something's happened, someone's dropped something, Fletcher's screaming, and, it's really easy to, in that moment, when you've got all this pent-up energy, to just project it onto the other person, because that's the only other person that's there in the room with you, If we, I think, paused in those moments and just reminded ourselves in our minds and regulated that situation a bit, to take that 5 seconds, I think I can see how it would make a huge difference to things like conflict resolution or just diffusing a situation. I want to challenge us to do the 5 second rule for, let's give it a go for 2 weeks. Let's give it a good run and see how much it affects our, little tiffs and blow-ups. Little tips and big
passionate conversations.
Passionate conversations.
Yeah, love it. Okay, I'll try.
Okay.
I hope you can do the same.
I'll do it better than you
can. You are
can.
not even a fiery Turkish woman.
You're
pretty chilled out.
Fiery half Polish man.
Yeah, I love it.
When we started dating, we were probably even more, let's keep rolling with the fire, even a bit more fiery, a bit more passionate.
When you say we, do you mean you?
No.
Oh, okay, sorry. I'm just clarifying that you mean me as well.
You were worse than me.
That is a lie.
I was bad, yeah.
Okay, that's good.
Bring that back to me. I'm not going to...
The thing is, I think something that you did in the past, which I don't really think is a good thing in relationships, I think that when you have... I think when you have conflict with someone, you have an issue, especially when you get a bit older, I think that almost always it should be sorted out in person, face to face. I think that when you text, and things can get misconstrued, tones aren't there, intonation isn't there, whether you're being cheeky, just things get misconstrued. And I think back in the day, you used to send me, they were...
Don't expose me.
Okay, there were some lengthy messages. I'm talking back in the day, if you were paying 25 cents a text message, these things would have been like $10 messages.
Have you ever opened a text message so long that it's no longer in the blue bit? It takes you into a separate page? I used to do that. Was me.
Yes, you did.
Yeah,
it was like opening a
It's like the iPhone cucked and I went, no, need to create a document for this text message.
And then when you did that to me, I kind of just used to shut off. I was like,
did you ever read it? Did you read them?
Yeah, I've read them most of the time. But sometimes if it was the document opening, I'd be like, I don't have time for this.
I don't blame you. I don't blame you.
But I was like, there's nothing that's happened right now. Like I remember back in the day, I'll give you an example.
Is this turning into an
once you
expose?
sent me like a big one, right?
Yeah, all right.
I'd done something wrong, I don't know, or
Obviously.
supposedly. And then I remember I'd obviously gone online and I'd been like just scrolling and
I used to hate it when you did
liking
this.
someone's photo or something. And then you'd like screenshot that photo and you'd go, they put this photo up 7 minutes ago and you've liked it. I responded to you. I texted you 9 minutes ago. So it means you've read it and been on your phone. So why haven't you responded? And I'd be like, is this chick for real? So I think that was the first time we dated.
That was for me. I think I had really big issues around that kind of stuff because I came out of a relationship where my ex would block me for 2 days. And that was like not being responded to in the middle of an argument and being blocked for 2 days would like actually, I'd spiral. It was like really awful.
Yeah,
So then whenever it got obviously to the point where if I had sent something to someone and I was really upset and I wasn't being acknowledged and then they were offline or online doing other things, I would get really, really like genuinely so upset.
Oh, I know.
That I was being absolutely ignored, that it just sent me into a frenzy. Like it really did. I get really emotional.
I know, I could tell. But the thing is, when you send someone a message, I think what you forgot is like, I don't have to respond to you immediately. I'm allowed to take my time, think about it, process it. Like,
I know that now. And that took me a while to learn. I really had to work hard to give you time and space because for me, my style of conflict resolution is immediately, needs to be fixed right now. Otherwise, I can't move on with my day. And I can't. I really struggle to move on and get over something. I'm a lot better at it now, but especially back then, I would just sit and it would I would actually just wallow in whatever I was in until it got resolved. I couldn't move on. I remember there were days where I would go home from work because I was so emotional over a situation that I couldn't actually sit at my desk. I'd have to go, I'm really sorry, I'm feeling unwell, and go home, and I would just stare at my phone and just wait. That's how bad it was.
If you told me this years ago, I wouldn't have gone into business with you. Imagine someone going home from
really
work because they're waiting on a text message.
I had all of these residual. Poor me. I feel bad for. I do apologise because that's.
Do you reckon the 5-second rule would have worked back then for you? So if you saw me liking someone's photo, do you reckon you should have just sat there for 5 seconds and gone?
Maybe 5 minutes. I think I needed 5 minutes.
Yeah. Okay.
Because I think when it's on your screen, it's different to in person.
Yeah, that's what I said.
That's why I used to send messages, by the way, is because I found it easy to articulate myself writing over calling you, picking up the phone and calling you. I found that I would get kind of lost trying to convey what I was wanting to say in that, when I was feeling really heated, I would lose my words and it would just kind of not come out clearly. So I liked writing things down.
Sure. I guess we're both advocating for the complete opposites then.
I know.
I'm saying I think you should always have these discussions. When you're upset, if you're upset with your partner and you're going to send them an essay, save it, cool your jets, think about what you want to say, and then meet up with them later or when you next.
You know what I've done a couple of times. I don't know if you remember, which might be even crazier of me.
Probably
I can't believe I give
PTSD
people
from it.
relationship advice. This is wild. I would write it down, but then give it to him in person. Do you remember?
What?
I'd write it on my phone and then I'd hand the phone to you so that I
just make a super awkward scenario. So we'll both sit there while I read this essay.
Yeah,
and then I have to look at you and go.
I wanted to get it out properly, but be in person and not do it over the phone. But I didn't want to articulate myself incorrectly, or say something in the heat of the moment.
I think that's almost cheating though, because anyone can write a perfectly scribed message over hours. No, cheating in the form of having an argument or a disagreement.
Oh, you mean cheating the conflict resolution?
Yeah. I think
if
you
it
need
works,
to.
it works,
I think you need to bang it out, face to face.
You need to bang it out. That's your bang it out.
Figure of speech. I'm not actually going to sleep with you to fix it.
Oh, okay, right.
Yeah.
You meant get it done.
Yeah, just bang it out.
You were suggesting an interesting.
We can try.
Form of conflict.
We can try. Up to you.
Yeah, no, that's not for me. I never understood people who did that, make up sex. I just can't.
Yeah, I'm too mad at you.
No, what? Why would I want to do it? Ew. What?
Well, I don't need ooh. That's a bit far. I'm still me.
When I'm seething, that's not something I want to do.
Yeah, I don't
maybe
really
people
disagree.
don't seethe. Maybe we're just abnormal. Maybe we just take
Why do you always say we? Whenever you mention something about yourself, I'm seething and you go, we are seething.
Don't act like you're too good for a seethe.
No. I don't disagree. I'm actually not big on the whole makeup smooch. I need time to really cool down.
We need a makeup cuddle. That's good.
Yeah.
We like makeup cuddles.
Yeah.
It does diffuse you, really. If you're really frustrated, you have a cuddle, you kind of relax into one another. And then you're like, oh, that's better.
Yeah, I don't
Sometimes
disagree.
I just need a cuddle, by the way.
Okay.
Just off the record.
All right, honey.
But on the record,
When was the last time you reckon you sent me an essay? Just to show your personal growth here.
Man, I can't even remember. I'm guessing you know because you've given that look to me.
I reckon I could pull one up in the last 2 weeks.
Are you serious?
Yeah, not a document opener.
Not an essay.
Just a big fella.
I've sent you one message recently.
She knows.
Yeah, that was normal amount of words though.
Yeah, nice.
That was just a good old. Don't do this, please.
Yeah, I mean, I will be honest.
You know what it was?
and
We've discussed this on the pod as well.
Jad and I have been bickering a little bit more as of late.
What?
Due to, I think, just the stresses of, being new parents, new family.
Juggling work, juggling life.
Trying to navigate everything and keep all the cogs turning of our life. It does become quite difficult. And when you're, we're not only in each other's hair all the time. We work together. We don't really get much time apart, which means that if anything does go wrong or astray, the person in front of you is normally the person who cops it, right? And gets your short, sharp answer or your tone of voice or something. So we're not ever arguing over, big moral questions about our lives and what we want to do or where we want to be or, what we want to, where we want our kid to go to. It's not big things, but we do bicker a little bit because, I don't know, we're probably both just exhausted and,
do you remember what
run dry.
The thing was, the message that you were just referring to?
No, you want to remind me?
It was related to the ice tray.
Yeah.
It was the ice tray.
Yeah. Supposedly I didn't
No,
fill it
not
up,
supposedly.
even though I always fill it up.
Not supposedly, no, because you admitted it.
Yeah, I admitted it to move on.
Are you serious? Because I have evidence that it was you.
Oh, you set up a camera?
I have evidence. I have receipts.
Anytime I ever...
Let it be known to the court. Here's what occurred. I'm going to leave you guys with a little image in your mind. The ice tray was not filled. Now that I say this out loud, it's really... Anyway, for entertainment purposes, the ice tray was not filled. And Locke said, can you just fill the ice tray before you come upstairs? And I said, yeah. And then I said, can you just remember to please fill the ice tray when it's empty? Because last time you left it empty. And Locke said, no, I didn't. And I said, yes, you did. And he said, no, because I always fill it up. And I said, well, I always fill it up. So you guys can see where this is going, basically.
Yeah, we can see where this is going. We both have an opinion and Jadé's is the only right one.
Here's the thing. I had gastro, right, that week. And I hadn't taken any ice out of the ice tray until that morning. Locke had made me the 2 coffees that I'd had since having gastro a week prior. Now,
people with gastro don't have coffees. There's your first flaw in your
no, because
story.
when I started getting better, you were making me coffees. The evidence supports the fact that I had not been in the kitchen making anything involving ice, and the ice tray would have had to be filled at some point throughout that duration.
I'm glad you're not a lawyer.
So I know that it wasn't me, right? But we've discussed this on the pod before. Locke really hates. He doesn't know how to let things go that he could possibly be a part of. You don't like admitting things.
Yeah, when I'm wrong.
I'm going to play. Can we play that Locke saying I'm stubborn snippet that we heard earlier?
I'm quite stubborn. Jadé's got a semi right now.
Anyway, so it was over the ice tray. But had we taken the 5 seconds, we probably would have, just walked away from the ice tray situation.
It's we again. You need to take the 5 seconds.
Takes 2 to tango.
Did you just take 5?
I took a few. Yeah, I took like 3. But you need to meet me halfway, buddy.
All right, I'm going to work on the 5-second rule for the next 2 weeks.
Yeah, we'll come back with our results because I think it'll be good.
Time will tell.
Okay, guys, we've got our Ask Mum and Dad for the week where you guys send us a question. It can be about your relationship, your friendships, your family life, anything you need help with, and we are here to help you. So we've got one here today. It says, first off, I love the podcast. Thank you so much. Thanks for tuning in and writing in. And it says, I recently dated a guy I really liked. We had a lot in common and he treated me well, but he was a terrible texter, often taking 5 to 7 hours to reply on weekdays and up to 10 hours on weekends. I didn't mind.
I wonder if she's there with a stopwatch on the days. It seems very precise.
I didn't mind too much since he's in finance and works a lot, and he usually called me for at least a few minutes after work, but he also only likes to hang out on weekdays. When I confronted him about it, he explained that the weekends were his time to get ahead on work, catch up on sleep, and run errands. I told him I'd love to hang out with him, even if it meant just running errands together, but he said he wasn't ready for that. We were dating for 3 months, both 29, went on dates about 2 to 3 times a week, and spoke to each other almost every day. I was starting to fall in love with him, so the fact that he wasn't really letting me in was painful, especially because I was being vulnerable with him, which was hard for me. I'd constantly ask him about his day and work. He said he felt supported by me. He just really struggles to let people into his life. I noticed this with his family. They don't really talk about things, and he only has one friend that he talks to once every few months. So I don't think he truly knows how to build a meaningful and lasting relationship. In the end, I decided to end things because I didn't want to keep being in pain. But I'm wondering if I made a mistake and if I should have been more patient and tried to show him how to let people in and create meaningful relationships with people.
It sounds like a bit of a cop-out, if I'm being honest.
What do you think's going on?
Well, she says that he's not very good at, like, connecting with people, but it sounds like he's fine at connecting with people during the week, just not the weekends. And then when she says that, like, when he said, I'm not ready for you to run errands with me. Like, if you're doing your grocery shopping and someone goes, I'll come with you and we can get a coffee and do grocery, and you go, I'm not really ready for that. But I'm ready to hang out with you 3 times a week and go to dinner and sleep with you. It's like, what do you mean?
I know. It sounds a bit sus. I think something's going on in the background.
Yeah,
that's
it sounds
my
like
inkling.
it sounds like he's trying to keep it pretty casual and, you know, not really impact his life, and his, you know, weekends are probably his enjoyment time where he hangs out with mates and probably goes out and, you know, could be hunting for other, you know, birds at bars and clubs or whatever it may be. But
I hate to say it, but it sounds like he's trying to keep you hidden.
Yeah.
And I think you've made a good choice by bailing out of that one, because, yeah, it absolutely sounds like a cop-out. I don't like anything about it. The whole thing's shady. Yeah,
and even you saying, like, he doesn't really have friends that he connects with and stuff, it's probably not a good start.
No.
It sounds a bit odd if you...
He's got one friend he chats to once every few months.
Yeah, a couple of months, and then you being you being the person that he connects with, and then he doesn't want to hang out with you either on the weekends.
What's he doing on the weekend?
If you don't have friends that you see and chat to, and you don't want to hang out with the person you're dating on the weekends.
How much life admin does he have?
Yeah, it doesn't really make sense. This guy...
What's he doing?
Yeah, he could be Batman, I guess, on the weekends. But
I reckon he's got another relationship going on in the background.
Does that happen?
Sounds sus.
What, she's the weekend girl? He goes, I can't hang out with you during the week.
Yeah, I reckon he's got a weekday chick and a weekend. Isn't that a song?
Oh, I don't know.
That chick that goes, you can have him on the weekends. What's the song?
You're asking me what that song is.
Monday, Sunday. I'm mixing it with Craig David, 7.
Beautiful.
No, there is a song. She says, I'll have him on Friday.
Why don't you figure it out and let me know the song next
you
week.
guys know what song I'm trying to sing. Anyway.
Yeah, the thing is, it's so funny how different people are in their scenarios and their relationships. Like, one of my best mates just... You know, he was dating this chick and it was all going really well, and they ended it because they couldn't spend enough time with each other. Like, they were both trying to find time and their schedules didn't really work out. He kind of always had to work a day on the weekend. She always worked long hours during the week. So they didn't get much time during the week in the evenings. And then they didn't get much time on the weekends. And they were like, look, this just can't work because we don't have enough time for each other. But they wanted to spend the time. And then you got people like this who want to spend time, and one person goes, I have all the time, but I don't want to spend it with you. It's just, you know, it's so funny how vastly different people's scenarios can be.
Yeah, I think you've done the right thing. I wouldn't be going back because I know it's cliche, but if he wanted to, he would. It's just, you can just apply that statement to everything. If he wanted to spend time with you, he would spend time with you. It's just simple as that.
I just think when people give you these answers, like, you need to, you know, have the balls to delve a little deeper. So when someone says, I got to do all these, you know, run errands on the weekend, and you go, oh, no worries. Like,
what are you doing?
I'll just come with you. I'll sit in the car next to you and we can chat and listen to music, and I'll come, you know, grocery shopping with you or dropping something somewhere. It's like, and then they go, I'm not ready for that. I would go, what do you mean you're not ready for that? Like, you're not ready to hang, like, just dive a little deeper and get answers, because that would really piss me off, like, not having sort of clarity around that situation and knowing that you spend 3 nights a week together, but then for some wild reason he's not ready to do that on the weekends.
You should do a gentle stalk.
What, follow him on the weekend, see what he gets up to?
Yeah. Just grab a couple of girlfriends, get some coffee, and
like a stakeout.
Just watch him, see where he goes.
The thing is, I think that is sicko.
Imagine he's doing something that he's...
love to know.
Imagine he's doing something he's just a bit embarrassed about. Like, maybe he goes to, you know those like medieval, like, maybe he's LARPing.
I don't know what that is.
It's when it's like a medieval festival and they go and there's like jousting. It's a whole thing. But maybe he's doing that.
I would be leaving too then.
Maybe he's just like, I don't want her to know about my LARPing. Maybe he's a furry.
What?
On the weekend, he dresses up he puts a dog head on.
I think this is not helping this woman. You're just putting ideas in her head. He's not a furry and he's not LARPing. I think he just doesn't like you, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and say that makes the most sense. I'm really sorry.
It, but if you're trying, like when you find the right person and you're really enjoying them, you want to spend all your free time with them.
Yeah.
Like, for example, my friend just recently, like they wanted to spend more time together and they couldn't. They couldn't progress the relationship. That's when you know you found someone good. And sometimes it just doesn't work out. But with Jad and I, for example, and we were talking about this the other day, it was actually quite funny. I remember, back when we first started dating, occasionally my mates would message me and they go, "Oh, are you free tonight? Let's do something." And I'd go like, "No, I can't. Sorry, I'm seeing Jad." And they'd be like, "Oh, but you saw her 2 nights ago." And I'd go, "Yeah, but I like hanging out with my missus. Like, I'm excited to see her. I don't care if I saw her 2 days ago. I want to see her again." And so if you're dating someone and when you're trying to hang out with them, they keep shunning you, I think that's just, it's evidence. It's concrete evidence that they're probably not the right one. And maybe it serves them during the week when they're bored and they don't have anything on, but then come the weekend, they've got better options. And you don't want to be someone's second option.
Sounds like he wants the cookie.
What's that mean?
Have you heard that analogy? The cookie.
Is that her hoo-ha?
Yeah, it's the cookie. I think in that scenario, you've done the right thing, you've walked away. But if you guys are in a similar scenario and you're still kind of like unsure, withdraw the cookie, see how it goes, and then, if he's giving sus vibes, then you can walk away entirely.
What does that mean? Withdraw the cookie, and if he's giving sus vibes, how is that? I'm confused how that is actionable for someone.
If you want to soft launch the breakup, withdraw the cookie. Do you understand?
So what do you say? They go, give me an example.
Just pretend you can't for some reason. Hey, you're free tonight,
I'm coming over. And you go, no.
Look, I've got this
closed.
health thing, like it's being checked out, so I can't do any of this. Do you want to hang out? Oh, sorry, I can't.
Oh, you're saying like check if they still want to hang out if you can't eat the cookie.
Exactly.
Oh, okay.
And then just next week, want to hang out? Yeah, just by the way, though, still got that thing. Oh, okay, sorry, can't, busy. Very sus. He wanted the cookie. Okay, you can walk away.
Gotcha. So test. Yeah, okay, I get you.
Yeah.
I get you.
Give it a
Did you ever do that with me to make sure?
No, you withdrew your cookie.
Classic. Is it a cookie? Is mine a cookie as well? Or is it different?
We don't need to do
hot dog.
The cookie dough
all right,
uncooked.
Guys. Yeah, all right. I feel like we've got to the bottom of this one. It sounds like you've done the right thing. You've made the right decision. And it sounds like this guy was just, he was kind of leading you down the wrong track just to nibble on the cookie.
Leave it in the past. Move on. You deserve better.
Yeah, good on you. And if you did have any questions, guys, you can write in to us at madaboutyou@novapodcast.com.au. We appreciate you checking in, as always. And I learned a few things today, like what a cookie was, and I hope you did too. And
thanks for tuning in. Don't forget to leave a review, a good one, please. That would be lovely.
And we will see you again to chat next week. See you guys.
Bye.